AG's Truth presents American Crime Story. The People versus O.J. Simpson, Episode 5 review. What's up, YouTube? It is your girl, Amber Gardner, and I am here today on AG's Truth to review this week's episode of The People versus O.J. Simpson. Now, I have to say, first off, the beginning of this episode, the acting, oh my goodness. Courtney B. Vance, you deserve an Emmy for your role as Johnny Cochran. You are killing it. Yes. Ooh. Now, I don't expect any less from Angela Bassett's husband. I mean, she's not going to marry nobody that ain't on bomb on their craft. He is killing it. The fact that they had the officer pull him over in front of the daughters, and the officer was about to arrest him for some stupid stuff, all because he felt he caught an attitude with him. And if Courtney, in his role as Johnny Cochran, had not told the officer, you may want to call in to see who I am, that officer would have made the biggest fool of himself. It was great to see Johnny Cochran put that man in his place. Now, speaking of making fool of oneself, oh my goodness, the young black man on the side of the prosecution. He made a fool of himself this first half of the episode. He himself, after Johnny made the comment on the newscast that they only had him there so they could have a black person on the side of the prosecution, he himself even felt it for some of Marsha Clark's comments, and he kept going with it. And for him to petition the court to not have the word nigger said during the trial, he was setting himself up to look foolish, and Johnny demolished him. Johnny Cochran basically should have said, who are you to say what black people can and cannot handle? You underestimate us more than white people do, and it's more offensive coming from you as a brother. Then turned to him and said, nigga, please. I felt for Christopher Darden. I really did, for the fact of even seeing different protests and things that were taking place. You could tell the black community was really, and they was calling him Uncle Tom, and I believe it was over 70% didn't like him or something of that nature from the surveys. It was just, it was hard for Chris. And yeah, I know he's a DA, but it's the fact of the black folk was loving Johnny, but they was not liking Chris. And Marsha, she couldn't relate because you a white woman. And I know she says, oh, I picked you because of your different talents and your different abilities, which is true. But him having melanin in his skin definitely helped her decision. Let's keep it real. But all in all, great, especially with Johnny, the way he used that mistake and flipped it and used the people not having knowledge of some of the witnesses. It's a shame that the prosecution, one of their people, ended up, I believe, having a heart attack. It's a shame that happened. However, it did help Johnny, and his goal of shaking things up was definitely reached. The fact that Christopher got bumped up to co-counsel after the team member was not coming back due to health problems, it's a good thing for his career as of now. However, I'm waiting to see what's going to happen with that, because him and Cochran already was going head to head because some of Cochran's comments. So him being co-counsel now, that's going to be really, really interesting. Now with Johnny, I loved how this episode they showed Johnny, they showed more of his humane side, showed him with his daughters, showed him with his wife, and also showed the dedication he had for his client. I mean, he's a great chess player when it comes to knowing what to do and what not to do to get his client the results that he needs. I mean, when they found out the jury was going to be visiting the house, and he went into the home and basically redecorated the interior so that it did not come across as OJ was disrespectful to his wife or a party person, because OJ had pictures of other women in there, pictures of people in bikinis, and Cochran switched it out. He put some pictures of him with his mother. He put some black artifacts in there, African American artifacts, so it seemed like OJ was really pro-black. Johnny definitely knew what to do and how to do it. He was a chess player through and through, just a chess player, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I will say this though, OJ was becoming his own worst enemy. The way he went off on Christopher Darden when he sat down when the jury and OJ and the prosecution and defense were at the house, OJ was about to make himself look real crazy because some of them jurors, even though the black people, they was all with him when they saw the Heisman and everything, some of them jurors, when they saw him starting to yell and get a little irate, they was like, what's wrong with you? He need to calm down. I'm gonna need him to bring that down, definitely. Also, I will say this. I am thankful that Christopher did not simply take Johnny's advice and dismiss it because it was coming from Johnny. Johnny's advice on having one of the other people, or as Johnny said, one of the white people, question Detective Furman is definitely was good advice, for the fact of, even after Christopher questioned him, he said he had never used the N-word. However, at the end of the episode, it shows a swastika on a medal, and swastika is associated with Nazi, aka followers of Adolf Hitler. So I think he definitely dodged a bullet with that one. All in all, this episode was about race, and more race. From Cochran being pulled over, to the comments about the word nigger, to O.J. Simpson talking with Johnny Cochran about how he left his hometown and he had the right to, and people still tried to mooch off of him, to Furman having a daggone Nazi symbol in his daggone glass case in his house. This just race, and more race. But you know what? It's getting good. It's getting better and better by the episode, and it's staying raw, and that's why I love it. I thank you for joining me on tonight. I hope to see you next week. Please remember to stay, for my people of color, stay black. And also for my women, stay beautiful. For my men, stay strong. And please remember, 2016 can bring a new you, but only if you allow it. This is Amber Gardner at AG's Truth. Peace, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope you join me again here at AG's Truth, where honesty's always in style.